Assalamu alaikum. I am Shayma and this is our Vision News. Dirt accumulation is accelerating in uninspected areas of makeshift camps. Rohingyas movement disrupted for NVC inquiries in Maungdaw. Numerous Rohingya children receive an eye care at Chittagong Eye Infirmary and Training Complex. Reuters urges Myanmar to free jailed journalists. House Republicans lead vote to label Rohingya crisis a genocide. Dirt accumulation in gutters have increased in the uninspected areas of multiple makeshift camps of Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh. It has increased tremendously in Kutupalong camp, where no INGO or guest pays visit. The similar filthy condition was also seen in the gutters of Balukhali Camp 2, where people are almost suffocating due to severe pungent smell. Dirty gutters were also spotted in Hakimfara Camp 14 as well, where locals complain about the negligence of the authorities responsible to clean them. In all the affected camps, locals have tried to contact the responsible authorities for cleaning, but they had to hopelessly return, as authorities said they were not asked to clean those areas. Authorities only clean that area where INGOs or international guests come to visit the camps. They do not have any concerns about our suffering, complains a suffering Rohingya in Kutupalong camp. On the other hand, dirt accumulation is not restricting the movement, but also increased various infectious diseases like malaria, diarrhea, skin allergies among children and elderly Rohingya. Since late 2016, the newly arrived Rohingya are combating to get even the tiniest portion of basic human needs, and new challenges are emerging in their ways in the makeshift camps just to live as a human. Remaining Rohingyas in movement and livelihood activities have been further restricted for not holding the illegal national verification cards by Burmese border guard police, reports a local source. Remaining Rohingya from Mangala and Ferangfuru village of Maungdaw township were restricted to cross the river to the Chowlega market for not holding the NVC since 20th of the last month. Most of the people who travel to the Chowlega market usually goes to sell their vegetables, fish and chicken as a part of their livelihood activity. Besides, NVC and BGPs also demanded travel permits as well, just to cross a river. This situation has further disrupted their daily livelihood activity, and even in case of emergency, Rohingya have to think twice to travel. In many cases, reports of money extortion were reported from the locals who says they were harassed for not having NVC and were forced to pay to the Burmese border guard police. Since late 2016, Burmese armed forces' brutal campaign expelled 1.3 million Rohingya out of their homes to the apartheid makeshift camps of Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh. Now remaining Rohingya are tortured and harassed to wipe them as well to complete their genocidal project on Rohingya. Chittagong Eye Infirmary and Training Complex has been performing eye surgeries on the Rohingya children in partnership with Orbis International. A Rohingya boy named Muhammad Suhail, having a sustained eye injuries while playing with a top, was taken to the Chittagong Eye Infirmary and Training Complex on Tuesday, as there are no surgical facilities near the Rohingya refugee camps in Cox's Bazar. The Rohingya boy successfully got back his eyesight after undergoing an eye surgery. Like Suhail, total of 9 Rohingya children have undergone eye surgeries at the Chittagong Eye Infirmary and Training Complex between December 9 and December 11. Chittagong Eye Infirmary and Training Complex has been performing eye surgeries on the Rohingya children in partnership with Orbis International. The Rohingya children are also receiving necessary medication after the surgery. Orbis International has so far screened 20,000 Rohingya and 10,000 local children and distributed medicines and glasses among them. The editor-in-chief of Reuters has urged Myanmar to release the news agency's 2 journalists who were jailed for covering the persecution of Rohingya Muslims. Stephen Adler spoke to NHK in Tokyo on Tuesday about Wallon and Cho So-woo. The 2 were arrested in Burma on December 28 last year for suspicion of illegally obtaining confidential documents. They were sentenced to 7 years in prison in September for violating the country's Official Secrets Act. Adler said the journalists were doing their job and exposing a massacre and they are entirely innocent of wrongdoing. He also said it was a setup by the police to try to prevent journalists from covering the massacre, adding that the trial was not representative of democratic behavior. Adler urged Burma's de facto leader Aung San Suu Kyi to pardon the 2 men to ensure democratic ideals such as human rights and freedom of expression, which he spoke about in the past. The House of Representatives is expected to pass a resolution with overwhelming bipartisan support on Wednesday to declare the violence against Burma's Rohingya a genocide, a move Trump administration still has not made, despite mounting evidence and a cavalcade of voices saying so. The resolution's expected passage is particularly striking because it brings Democrats together with the House Republicans, who rarely break with President Donald Trump on legislation. Republican House leadership pushed for the vote to come up before the end of the year, a House aide told ABC News, sending a signal to the White House that more should be done to punish Burma for the atrocities. The vote was expected to occur Tuesday, but had to push to Wednesday after debate on the legislation. The resolution also condemns the arrest of 2 Reuters journalists who helped uncover one of the Burmese military's mass graves and calls for their immediate release. Wallon and Cho So-woo were arrested nearly a year ago on 20 December 2017 and sentenced in September to 7 years in prison for breaching a law on state secrets, charges that have been roundly criticized and described as trumped-up. Formerly known as Burma, Myanmar has long oppressed the majority Muslim ethnic minority Rohingya and other ethnic minorities. Starting last August, it began what the United Nations called a systematic campaign to eradicate the Rohingya and drive them from their homes into neighboring Bangladesh. More than 800,000 refugees escaped to make the journey and joined hundreds of thousands who already lived in the camps of Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh. Since then, the United Nations, the US Holocaust Memorial Museum, and others have labeled that campaign a genocide. Thank you for watching our Vision News. To know more, visit our website ourvisiontv.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.